The story of a resource is a narrative written to demonstrate the potential impact of sharing openly licensed content using the Oregon Open Learning Hub. While this story does not follow a resource that has been written yet, it illustrates the vision for how resources will be shared across Oregon. As you follow the journey, notice the bar on the right illustrating the number of educators and students reached, as well as the number of revisions made to the original resource.
The journey of this resource starts in Grants Pass, where a middle school science teacher contributes a hands-on activity to the science group in Oregon Open Learning. At this point, 125 students are served by this lesson.
From there, a dual language science educator in Hillsboro finds the resource and translates it into Spanish. The remixed resource is shared back to the science group. With this second iteration, the resource has reached 2 educators and around 170 students.
A teacher in Hermiston is looking for science activities in Spanish and finds the remix on Oregon Open Learning. She shares it with her PLC and they collaborate with their counselors to add an SEL component to the opening of the lesson. With this third revision, the lesson has been used by 5 educators and reached over 320 students.
The Hermiston PLC connected with a team of educators from Redmond through the Oregon Science Project. They shared the resource, which was then used in their middle schools. Even though it wasn't revised or remixed, it was widely used in the region. We're up to 8 educators and around 500 students.
The same dual language educator in Hillsboro connected with a group working with the Portland Metro STEM Partnership, and they decided to add a math component to help the activity serve even more students. The new resource gets added back to the hub in both the science and the math groups. Afterwards, they share the resource through their region with a few additional teachers deciding to use it. This single revision nearly doubled the number of educators reached and nearly tripled the number of students.
Lane ESD and Eugene Forge are collaborating on some interdisciplinary units. They find the STEM resource and it fits one of their project-based learning units. The resource is remixed into this unit and the full unit is added to the project-based learning group on the hub. Several Lane County teachers use the full unit. Now in its 5th iteration, the number of educators reached nearly doubles again, and the total number of students reached sits around 2,200.
Meanwhile, the special education program administrator at South Coast ESD is promoting the hub throughout her region, and a middle school special education teacher in Central Curry School District finds the resource and then differentiates it for one of his students experiencing disability. This remix is shared back with the hub. You get the idea. In all, nearly 40 educators used the initial activity and it reached over 3,000 students. The quality of the resource improved each time too, as each educator or team added more components based on their students' needs. It's also worth noting that there were 0 copyright violations involved because each of the resources was openly licensed. And perhaps the best news, there was no cost to use and share this resource, other than teacher time and perhaps making a few copies as needed.